Good morning, guys. Welcome back. I'm finally here to review something for you guys. It's been like weeks on weeks, but primarily because I only review or I really just want to showcase you guys like notable products, something that's like really worthwhile. And so I'm finally back here with you guys because Grandad's Old Fashioned is back. And if you guys remember from almost 2 years ago, like we reviewed Grandad's Old Fashioned lightweight, medium weight, heavyweight pomades, all oil-based products. And Grandad's has been on the market for a long time now, but over the past year, they've really kind of like died out. And they're a San Diego based company, so like I actually really kind of empathize with them. Like that's really close to my hometown. Spent a lot of time there, had a lot of friends from there. And on top of that, like I actually really like their product. Their lightweight pomade was exceptional, and we'll be looking at that in the future weeks. But the thing was, I was actually really sad to see them go. But now Bryce has brought them back. They're back with like a new mentality, a new approach on the market, and so we can basically expect actually newly reformulated products, a new water-based pomade that we're gonna look at today, and also shipping times that are within reason. Like no more of that kind of that hassle anymore. Like I actually received this package in 2 days, which is like definitely one of the best shipping like delivery time frames out of any sort of like home brewer. And so today, as I just mentioned, we'll be looking at the new Grandad's water-based pomade. We'll be looking at the other oil bases in the future, but today I want to go ahead and start off with like their new innovative water base, which is honestly exceptional. So we'll go ahead and go into it and start off by looking at the jar like always. This is the new face of Grandad's Old Fashioned. So definitely a big step away from their original line, or the original design I mean. So it's really clean, basically a monotone design work, or rather a trichrome, but basically you have a simple color on the background and a simple accent color on the edges into the G, which designate like the type of product. This is the water base. This is still 4 ounces, comes in a nice amber glass jar. Ingredients on one side, and basically, what is that, directions? Yeah, directions on the other side. Then on the top face you have another label, and opening it up you'll see the product itself, and do notice that it actually has a pretty unique consistency. You notice right away that it definitely looks creamy, and I'll talk to this more later on, but it's kind of like an in-between of like Old Dude's water base and Anchor's, which is pretty damn cool. So let's go ahead and start styling with it. Before we go any deeper into this pomade, if you guys haven't seen the Old Dude's water base review or any like the Anchor's Teddy Boy Original or Teddy Boy Matte reviews, like I would recommend going ahead and watching them because I will be referencing them a lot, since this product is in summary kind of like a halfway point between the two or the 3 products. But yeah, so use those for reference. This pomade, when you like first smell it, it took me a while to really grasp what it is. It definitely has like a floral yet like sweet scent, but just this morning I smelled it and I was just like, bam, it is like a really similar scent to those old like strawberry shortcake ice cream like popsicles things. And I forgot what the company was. It's like Good Something. But we had a lot of it back in like middle school and early high school, but it's that strawberry shortcake with a little bit of like floralness on top of it. So it's like the sweet fruitiness that's not really citrusy, but it has like a floral accent to it. So overall, a nice like smell. Smooth, slightly complex, but most of all, just really nice and smooth. So scooping out this pomade, initially it kind of feels a lot like Old Dude's water base, but like the new formula, you don't deal with the whole issue with like kind of rubbing it in your palms. It breaks down right away and kind of feels like a halfway point between like the kind of smooth creaminess of Anchor's versus like the kind of the wet pastiness of Old Dude's water base. And so it was really nice because Grandad's had basically kind of stepped into the background for a while, and like I said before, I was kind of sad to see that. But now they're back, and immediately when they came back, they basically released like a new water-based like formula to compete against the new other water-based products that we see from home brewers. And I also know from personally talking to Bryce that there are still even more products in development right now. So it's pretty legit. Like Grandad's is not only back but back and like kicking. And of course, like I'll mention this again later, but like they were one of my favorites. So right when they came back, I was like, yo, gotta set up like a promo code for like my followers and stuff like that, because those were some of the first products I tried, and there have been some of my like absolute favorites. So I wanted to basically hook you guys like immediately up with just some good stuff. But yeah, so it applies really similar to Old Dude's water base. It's like definitely on the thicker, like the stickier and slightly thicker end. And I know I'm referencing like Old Dude's water base a lot, but I would really like to draw the distinction. They are actually really different products. So application is a breeze, scooping out is a breeze. It has a really nice like just texture overall. It feels really wet in your hands, and as we'll talk about later on during the day and stuff like that, it doesn't dry at all. So just a really advantageous product. And so I've been taking like really small scoops. So I'll go ahead and take just one more small one, making sure like I distribute it properly. And you've noticed that I've started to do this like more and more often, even with pomades that are not like heavy weight. And this is just to make sure that like the job is done and the job is done well. And I don't believe it's labeled anywhere on the jar itself, but I would basically define this pomade as a medium hold and medium weight pomade in every single fashion. It's just like really nice, standard, a balance of what you need. Yeah, so with the product applied, the scent kind of persisting in the air, really nice smooth scent. Go ahead, start slicking everything back. And as we expected from the jar, or rather the consistency of the product in the jar, it's really easy to comb, really easy to work with, really smooth, and not an issue at all. With everything slicked back, let's go ahead and start forming our part. One thing I noticed is this product, I mean, now similar to Crystal Lake, this pomade actually like makes your hair feel like pretty soft and stuff, which is something I always really appreciate, because there's those products that make your hair feel really dry and unhealthy, but then there's those other products that kind of just make things feel really nice, which is like not necessary to style like a really nice pomp, but it's not a bad thing to have, you know? So with this part made, we'll go ahead and start styling the pomp now. Alright, so we'll go ahead and call it done and kind of judge the pomp from here. So I opted to go about the part, not with any sort of, not because of like the product itself, but rather when I got that kind of high taper from before, the barber did like kind of taper up to my part, and so I have a few awkward kind of between short and long hairs that just can't really decide when to sit and when to not, and when they don't sit, they stick up like pretty damn long, so I decided to just go about the part. But yeah, so the sides are like slicked back, like pretty nice and stuff like that. It still has a little bit of liveliness to it. The product's like really soft, and so added a little bit of weight and kind of softened up my hair, so it doesn't really like bite back. It just go ahead and like sits down. The pump itself is at like an average height, and if I wanted to, I can basically go out, do something for 50 minutes, come back, wait for like a little bit of the water to kind of like evaporate, and go ahead and go up, go back into it and like add a little bit more height if I wanted to. But overall, like the shape is nice, things look like pleasing, and the most important part is like everything feels clean, everything feels like nice. Like the product works, but also gets like the finer details of just making it an overall pleasing experience. But yeah, so essentially we have like a really nice like creamy consistency. Texture is really like nice when it comes to the product itself. Styling is a breeze. We have, I would say, about like a neutral shine, just like a notch above. Just a nice little luster to it. Slickness, this pomade is actually pretty slick. It's not like super sticky at all, but it really kind of, slickness is right between Old Dude's water base, which is like a really kind of, I would say like a wet product rather than like Anchor's, which is slightly like stickier, the Teddy Boy original. And in terms of hold, I would push it more towards like Teddy Boy original, but with an added weight of like the water, like the Old Dude's water based pomade. And so control overall is like pretty well balanced. I mean, you have your hold, you have your like slickness, and so things go where you want them to, and they have a little bit of personality to them. They fight a little bit back, and so you get this nice naturalness to it, which is a really important thing and why I stay away from like super heavyweight pomades. But yeah, so anyways, go throughout the whole day now. I'll come back and talk about the endurance, restylability, things like that. Alright, what up guys? So I'm back now. Let's go ahead and go over the hair, and especially real quick before like the battery and everything else dies. So today, I mean, was actually a pretty crazy test for this pomade. As you'll see in like the vlog I just uploaded, like we had one hell of a day from playing just like stupid like ping pong, climbing like rooftops, and just basically doing everything possible in San Francisco. So like the test was absolutely like absurd and it's super late at night right now, so in all honesty, no pomade would have survived all that. But what I wanted to actually at least point out is that like I can still get some sort of like volume and general shape out of it. Like after climbing to like the rooftop and kind of getting a nice view of the whole like city and stuff like that, like my hair was fucked up, and just like that's just how it is. It was really windy, and just, I mean, the physical task of basically like jumping like off and on or like fire escapes just really messed everything up. But so later in the day, I mean, like I tried it before, it lasts the whole day on an average day, but do this I had to like kind of hand comb it, and it still looked like pretty nice. It still has like a nice flow to it, and everything is still kept together, which is really convenient and stuff like that. It's still a medium weight, medium hold pomade. I mean, it's not super strong like by any means, but it's what you expect out of like a well balanced product. And so like endurance is like good on an average day where you're just like kind of going to school, going to work, it will last. Restylability never dries at all, period. It stays really soft and malleable and stuff like that. Really like nice and convenient, not really super oily or wet in any way. Washing it out washes out in one shower, and this is like really as good as like these other innovative water-based pomades we've seen. And so in all honesty, I would highly recommend trying out Grandad's water-based. In addition to the rest of like the water-based pomades that we're seeing from homebrewers, like they're all really good and they're all really unique too, which is a cool thing. And this one, like I said before, is a really like kind of midway between Old Dudes and Anchors, really gathering like some of like the best characteristics of the two. Old Dudes being really like slick and wet, and Anchors just being really like creamy and easy to work with. And so like I think this is another water-based pomade that's new to the market that you should definitely try to really help understand what we can possibly even accomplish with these new water-based pomades. So other than that, guys, have a good weekend and peace out.